You're watching the Ron Livingston Show. Tonight, atheist Richard Dawkins gets in a heated debate with me about religion. Also, of course, we have Ron down. Of all the GOP presidential candidates. As well as some nasty comments from Michael Moore, I backlash against him. And to close the show, we have the heartbreaking story of struggling, obese American James Doyle. And it is just a tragedy. So stay tuned, we have these stories for you tonight. It's good to have you on the show, Richard. How are you?
I'm pretty good. How about you, Ron?
I'm alright. What do you think of these findings?
Well, I think that it's no real surprise, actually. After I wrote my book, atheism has skyrocketed. They're seeing the truth. I think that there is no God, and people are just finding the common sense.
Let me stop you there. Well, being a man of strong Christian faith myself, I'm kind of offended by your view. And I know the things Jesus has done for me. I have a relationship with Christ. And I want you to, since you don't believe there's a God, I'm going to give you 30 seconds. I'm going to give you a shot, 30 seconds, to convince my audience that there is no God. Go ahead.
Well, you believe in a God, but you think every other religion is wrong. I just believe in one fewer God than you do. Once you understand why you believe it, that you don't believe in all the other gods, then you don't understand why I don't believe in yours.
Alright, well, my response to that is, my God has an answer, and his word is explicitly written in the Holy Bible. He has the answer to life. Whether going to hell or heaven is in the Bible. So, I want you to respond to that, please.
Well, the Bible was written by unintelligent men way back when, who thought stoning their daughters for having sex with a black man would be necessary.
Okay, so you believe there is no God at all.
That's what, yes.
And do you have an answer for where the universe came from?
Yes, actually.
Please explain.
The Big Bang Theory is how the universe came into existence.
And explain how that all came about, because I don't understand how everything
Well,
goes.
quantum mechanics have proven that something can appear out of nothing.
Can you explain that?
No.
Oh, okay.
I'm not a quantum mechanics specialist.
Okay, so you can't give me an answer.
I can't give you an answer.
But you can't give me that. Okay, you cannot give me an answer.
No,
and you are an atheist. But I can give you an answer because in the Word, it says in the first
yes,
verse.
but the word
in the first verse of the Bible, it says God created the heavens and the earth.
So
God has always been there. That's the answer. My God has an answer. So you have no explanation. I do.
No. We're talking about for each religion, not each other. My other people will have an answer for it. You're saying that God has an answer for it. You don't have an answer. You're supposedly God has an answer.
And you don't have an answer.
No, I don't have an answer. None of us have an answer. Your supposed God does, and the people who can prove quantum mechanics prove that there is a God. That there is not a God, pardon me.
Alright, well, until you learn on quantum mechanics, I'm going to stick with my view because I have an answer and you don't. On to our next segment. Sony's PSN network, an online gaming server, has recently crashed due to many gamers' knowledge. Of course, they already know this has happened. Now, Sony has released a press statement saying that they are at fault for this. My view on this is that my bastard little son better not have taken my credit card again. Hackers have information of your birthday, your first name, your last name, your credit card information. This could really turn ugly. So, if you are a victim of this, I suggest you contact the Federal Trade Commission. Thank you very much. The pool of GOP presidential candidates in 2012 is very complex. We have candidates of different gender, wide array of political views going on, so I'm going to give you a breakdown of all the candidates and what I think of them. First, we have former Senator Rick Santorum of Pennsylvania. I think he's a complete douchebag, and he thinks intelligent design should be taught in schools. I don't really like him. That brings me to Minnesota Representative Michelle Bachmann. She's a constitutionalist conservative, and she's one of my favorites that's running. Now, I think she has guts. She spoke up to Secretary of the Treasury Tim Geithner, asking him of the Constitution. Next, we have Herman Cain. I love Herman because he just makes the best Godfather's pizza. Just kidding. But what I really love about him is the fact that he really loves the gold standard. And the gold standard is what will give our monetary situation sound money. And I think that's something to look out for. Next, we have Mitt Romney. Once again, I don't like his government-sponsored health care that he proposed in Massachusetts as governor. I don't like the fact that he used to be pro-choice. He can't keep flip-flopping his views. But he's just another neocon asshole, just as Governor Pawlenty. Mike Huckabee. What can I say? He used to be a fat ass. He has diabetes. He has his own show now. I do like his jolly comportment. It's very nice. Olive Busey, Scorpio Ole Savior. Now, this guy I particularly love because he is advocating for a Minnesota Vikings stadium drive. And that could help Minnesota taxpayers and just the general infrastructure of that whole entire downtown Minneapolis could receive a huge boost if he were to be elected president, which is not going to happen. That brings me to Newt Gingrich. I really like Newt, but he has terrible morals, he fucked his secretary, and he also supports the war in Iraq, and I preach a non-interventionist foreign policy. I think we should get out of other people's lives, bring our 130 military bases home. Also, that brings me to Donald Trump, businessman. I love Donald Trump. He is possibly my favorite candidate behind Michelle Bachmann, and my next candidate that I'm going to talk about. He knows what to do with business. He's just all-around conservative. And my favorite candidate of by far is Congressman Ron Paul of Texas. He's right about everything. Fiscal policy, monetary policy, non-interventionist foreign policy, pretty much everything, except I don't really like his views on capital punishment, and that's just about it. It is apparent to everyone. Obesity in America is on the rise. Here to talk about this is obese American James Doyle. It's good to have you on the show, James.
Sorry, yes. It's great to be here as an obese American. I'm a huge fan of the Ron Livingston show.
Oh, thank you.
Been watching it for years.
Okay, yeah.
You know, as they say, what is it? Long time viewer, first time fat guy sitting on your couch.
Yeah. I think that's how it goes. James, I'd like to know. Have you always been fat? Did you become fat in childhood? Can you give me some background info on that?
Okay, fat. Yeah, I wasn't fat born. No, there are plenty of fat babies. They did come out fat. I'm not one of them. I'm not in need of fat. So there was a time in my life when I was skinny and happy, you know, with the general overview of how life was going. Then it kind of clicked in me to go ahead and eat more, stop doing things, you know, why do things? So eat and stop doing things. And that was the general progression of me being large.
Sure. Well, were there any outstanding negative effects to this throughout your childhood?
Oh, sure, absolutely. When I made the decision to start becoming fat, a lot of people were upset. You can say there was outrage at my house, which has always been kind of an athletic household. Mm-hmm. They did not support my decision to come out as a fat American. So I went down the road single-handedly by myself. And I sit here before you and the studio audience proud to say that I'm here as a 23-year-old fat American because of how persistent I was at being a fat, or wanting to be a fat American. And yeah, there were some negative effects. Underwear sizes, you can never find that quite the right pair. Your pants always fall down because as you grow larger, Most people have this kind of curve in their back. I kind of just had a cliff, as you will. Oh God! I mean, shopping for clothes at Walmart, they don't hold your kid sizes up to waist size 37. They don't have that. Absolutely, it was a struggle to buy clothes as a large American, but as it was my and when I say large American, I say American, and it was my God-given right to be in a large American, and I'm like I still sit here and I'm very proud of that.
You say it was it was kind of one of a kind thing in your family to be fat. So were your parents fat? Brothers and sisters?
No, not a fat cell in anyone's DNA. It was completely a decision that I made from the get-go.
Okay. Do you see yourself being fat until you're on your deathbed, about to croak?
Well, because of my decision to become fat, I can see that my deathbed is actually not too far away from me. So, the longer I decide to stay fat is probably the sooner my deathbed will come up to me, which will probably actually be a count with kind of like cheese bags or Cheetos bags just surrounding it. But that's more like the definition of what my deathbed is. So yeah, I see me being fat on my deathbed, absolutely. On my posturepedic deathbed, absolutely.
What advice would you give to kids that are undergoing the same decision you made to become fat?
It gets better. No, it doesn't. It gets worse. I'm sorry. It gets absolutely worse. As you grow older, different smells come from your body that you're not happy with. The food never gets as better. It's always... You never get as high from the food that you once did when you were younger and the joy first came over. As you grow older, more bones start to hurt, same things. It's just like a progression. Like it's kind of like being a rock star instead of heroin, though you're shooting cheese whiz into your mouth instead of your arm. My advice, though, is make sure you do your education. Make sure you research it before you decide to become a fat American. Absolutely. You don't want to make an uneducated choice.
Do you think that obese or fat people are discriminated against necessarily? Not by intention, of course, but...
I feel, though, that yes, fat people in America are discriminated against. But there are efforts to help. I went down to Daytona to the little, or Orlando, and on the little roller coasters and whatnot, they had fat guy seats, which was great. So I could ride with my friends, and that was a touching moment in my life, because I always figured when I made the decision that I would never be able to ride a roller coaster again, and they made it possible for me to enjoy life again.
Alright, enough of all this emotional stuff, so let's get to fun things. Are you okay? Alright.
No, I'm alright.
Alright, just making sure.
I'm thankful for the people of Orlando and the Islands of Adventure Corporation.
Okay, what are your favorite foods?
Every goddamn thing that I put in my mouth.
Well, James Doyle, it is obese American James Doyle, everybody. It's been great to have you here, James.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's been wonderful, and like I said, you're a real inspiration to everyone back on the homestead, and we're pulling for you.
All right. Well, it's been good to have you.
Thank you.
Thank you.